Okay, welcome everybody to the Study in Korea, South Korea information session. I appreciate you being here today. And this presentation will cover a lot of the different program options available to you in South Korea as a UC San Diego student. So to start with introductions, my name is Rachel Rigoli, and I am a former UC San Diego Study Abroad advisor. I recently transitioned to a new role with the University of California Education Abroad program, which I'll be talking about today. But I'm here representing UC San Diego Study Abroad. Since I worked in the office for 20 plus years, I'm helping them out with these information sessions. And I will hopefully give you a lot of good information about studying in South Korea and answer all your questions today. I will certainly stay on at the end of the session to answer your questions individually. And then you will be in excellent hands with my study abroad colleagues. If you have any questions after the session, you can certainly reach out to them as well. So the first slide that I'd like to go over with you are the different types of programs that are available to you as UC San Diego students. So these are the different avenues for you to be able to study abroad. And the first two are UC San Diego programs, and that's UC San Diego Global Seminars, which I'll be talking about in the next few slides, as well as UC San Diego Global Exchange Program. These are UC San Diego programs specifically. We also have study abroad options in Korea through the University of California Education Abroad program, which we like to call UCEAP or EAP for short. And you also can study abroad through other UC campus programs, and those are open to students from other campuses. So UC San Diego students are eligible to go on programs offered by the other UC campuses like UC Berkeley and UCLA. And then the other option available to you is through the Opportunities Abroad program. We call that OAP for short. I'm not going to talk about OAP, but I want you to know it is an option. And basically, what OAP is enrolling in a study abroad program or doing a direct enrollment option where you apply directly to a university in South Korea. And so you're going outside the UC system, you would be receiving transfer credit. Aid does work a little bit differently if you go on a program through OAP, but it does expand the options available to you. We usually recommend that for students who might be paying non-resident tuition and want to pay tuition directly to a host university abroad or go through an outside provider. But in terms of streamlined process and sticking within the UC system, I'm going to be talking about global seminars, global exchange, UCAP, and the other UC campus programs today. So let's start with UCAP. So UCAP is the system-wide study abroad program. It's like you've never left UC San Diego. So you're going to be an enrolled UCSD student while you're on a UCAP program, and you will earn UC credit and UC grades for everything that you take while you're studying in South Korea. And you will be receiving academic credit. You can work with your academic advisors to work on degree requirements here at UC San Diego. And you'll be in South Korea with students from the other sorry, someone just requested to record an information session, so I just needed to accept that. So you'll be in South Korea with other UC students. So from Berkeley, Riverside, any student who's in the UC system is eligible for UCAP programs. And UCAP offers summer, quarter, and year-long options. So UC San Diego Global Seminars, these are summer faculty-led programs. So you would go abroad with a UCSD professor for 5 weeks and take 2 classes. You're going to be in a small group of mainly UC San Diego students, but we do open our programs to enrolled college students. So sometimes we have students from the other UC campuses as part who attend global seminars with UC San Diego students. Unfortunately, we don't have any offerings for summer 2025 in South Korea, but that doesn't mean that there won't be offerings in South Korea in the future, like in summer 2026. So if you're a first year and you're thinking about going later in your time at UC San Diego and you like the idea of going with a UC San Diego professor, make sure you check the Global Seminars website, which is listed right here, to see what is available. If you decide that South Korea isn't the best fit for you and you want to go elsewhere, you can certainly look at where Global Seminars is going in summer 2025. Maybe you'll want to work on Revell requirements if you're a Revell student, or you're an ERC student and you want to work on MMW course. So sometimes students will do global seminars, maybe between their first and second year here at UC San Diego, and then they'll go abroad maybe during the academic year where they go on a fall semester program. So that would be an option for you as well. The other option as a UC San Diego student is the UC San Diego Global Exchange Program. And we added actually a new program in Korea besides Hanyang University, which is listed here. We also are offering KAIST University, which is outside of Seoul. And I'll be talking about the Global Exchange Program specifics later on this presentation. But Global Exchange is only for UC San Diego students because it's a bilateral exchange agreement between universities abroad and where we send our students to that university overseas that we have a partnership with, and they will send their students to UC San Diego. So unlike UCAP, where any UC student can go on a UCAP program, for the Global Exchange Program is only open to UC San Diego students. So that's a big difference. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you are eligible to go on other UC campus programs during the summertime, and a lot of the other UC campuses run summer faculty-led programs as well. So you would be going abroad, let's say through UC Davis, you found a program in Korea that appeals to you, and you would be with a UC Davis professor instead of a UC San Diego professor. The other UC campuses just add more options available to you. Like I said, Global Seminars doesn't have an offering in summer 2025 in South Korea, but you might find a program that is the perfect fit for you in Korea through one of the other UC campuses. And it's very streamlined. You'll earn UC credit. You'll be paying UC summer fees to the other UC campus. And so it is pretty streamlined in terms of being able to go abroad as a UC San Diego student. So I want to talk a little bit about financing your study abroad. I know that sometimes costs can be a barrier for students studying abroad, and we don't want we want students to be able to study abroad and make sure that it's accessible to all students here at UC San Diego. So if you are on financial aid, I just want you to know you can use your financial aid while you're studying abroad as long as you're receiving academic credit for the program that you're going on. And I can tell you all the programs that I'm going to be talking about today, you will be receiving academic credit. So the way it works is if you're receiving aid during the academic year, the aid that you would receive, let's say you go abroad to Korea during the fall semester, the aid that you would have received for fall quarter just gets rolled over for your study abroad program. And the way aid works during the summer is a little bit different during the academic year. So I really encourage you to attend one of our upcoming financial aid information sessions. We have an in-house financial aid advisor who works in the study abroad office, and his name is Eduardo, and he is doing several financial aid information sessions. I think the next one is October 22nd. And I'll be sharing later on in the presentation where you can find all of our upcoming fall events. But he's going to go through how financial aid works in studying abroad. So if you're a financial aid recipient, certainly make sure you attend one of those sessions. He also is at virtual drop-in advising. So we do Zoom advising 3 times a week, but he is at drop-in advising on Fridays between 10 and 11:30. So if you're interested in talking to Eduardo about financial aid after attending one of the information sessions, and you found a program that you want to do, stop by drop-in advising. He's also available by appointment. He just really wants you to have an idea of where you think you might want to go, because he's going to be able to better advise you if he has an idea what the cost of the program is. Also, make sure you check out our website. I'm going to show you a screenshot later on in the presentation on how you can navigate our website. But he has built out a wonderful financial aid and scholarship page, and you can read about, again, how financial aid works and review scholarships that are available to you as a UC San Diego student, because over the years, we've given out $800,000 in financial aid between our office, students being awarded national scholarships called the Gilman Scholarship. Sometimes there are scholarships that are specific to certain locations. We actually have a scholarship database on our website, so definitely check out the resources that we have on the Study Abroad UC San Diego website. The other thing I want to mention is there are affordable program options. So not every program is going to be necessarily more expensive than your time here at UC San Diego. I can tell you right now that Korea programs for the academic year are going to be less than UC San Diego because the cost of living in Korea is less than living either on campus at UCSD or near campus. And so there's certainly affordable options, and I would say Korea is one of the more affordable options for sure. So you're in a good place if you're looking at cost and concerned about being able to afford study abroad. So let's move on to UCAP Korea programs. So as I already mentioned, UCAP is like you've never left UC San Diego. You're going to be an enrolled UCSD student. You're going to be with other UC students studying abroad in Korea, getting UC units. The grades that you receive on the program will automatically transfer back to your UCSD academic record. They'll go into your UCSD GPA. Aid goes with you. Like I said, summer aid does differ a little bit, but the aid during the academic year just gets rolled over. And you're going to be paying your UC tuition. There are UC program specific fees, they vary by program. And then you're going to be paying your out-of-pocket expenses like your room and board, your airline ticket, all of that. There's a QR code right here that will take you to the UCAP Korea page, and I have a screenshot later on in the presentation that's going to show you some of the information that you can access on the UCAP program pages for Korea. There's a ton of information, so use that QR code to be able to access the Korea pages. So before we get into specifics and the different UCAP Korea programs, I did want to mention something about citizenship. And if you are a Korean national or your parents are Korean citizens, you will certainly need to review the Korean consulate website or the Embassy of Korea located in Washington, D.C. UCAP on their program pages, they link to the consulate's website. But if you have Korean citizenship or your parents are Korean, there are some differences in how you will go about getting a Korean visa to study in Korea. So that's something that you need to be aware of. Also, if you have Korean citizenship and you are a male, then you could be conscripted into the Korean military if you're between the ages of 18 to 36. So that is a requirement for all male Korean citizens. And so it's important for you to reach out to the consulate. I believe there's paperwork that you can fill out, but I don't want to give out any misinformation and things can change. So we always refer students to the consulate for the most up-to-date information. So let's talk about Yonsei. Yonsei University is one of the SKY campuses. It's a very prestigious university in Korea, and it's in the city center in a very bustling part of Seoul. There are lots of course offerings taught in English and lots of different areas of study. So you're not looking at limited course offerings in English. So that's a great option for you in terms of being able to study different types of classes, STEM classes, social sciences, humanities. Yonsei University also offers an internship opportunity. This is information you can find on the Yonsei page on the UCAP website. They don't have a lot of information about the internship because that's something that once you arrive, you can talk to the UCAP Yonsei staff about internship opportunities and what the process involves. Yonsei University also does a really good job at connecting students to local students. So they have this robust buddy program. And then Yonsei University has 2 international dorms. Housing, unfortunately, is not guaranteed. I believe it's first come, first serve. So if you decide to apply for Yonsei for next year, you'll certainly want to be ready to go to when the housing application goes live to get your application in. If on-campus housing doesn't work out, then you certainly will have other options and EAP will provide you with guidance. Most students will take 3 to 4 classes to be considered a full-time student. It's a 2.85 GPA requirement in order to be eligible for the Yonsei University program through EAP, and that's at the time of application and must be maintained until departure. Now, all the Korea universities have some very interesting eligibility requirements, and it impacts first year students who might want to go abroad as sophomores, and it impacts transfer students who are new to UC San Diego. So if that is you, pay attention to when I go through all this on the next few slides. Yonsei University requires that you have 1 year of college prior to applying. So if you are a first year student, you will not be eligible to apply to go as a sophomore until the spring semester of your second year, because you have to do a full year at UC San Diego, meet the 2.85 GPA requirement, and then you can apply after that first year is over to go to spring of your second year. I would say most students go abroad during their third and fourth years here at UC San Diego, so it's not that common for our first year students to apply right away anyway, but I did need to clarify this specific eligibility requirement. If you are a transfer student, you will have needed to complete 2 quarters at UC San Diego prior to applying. And that means that you need to do fall and winter quarters, and then you are eligible to apply after winter quarter. So the earliest you could go to Yonsei would be spring of your second year at UC San Diego. So your fourth year in college. So that's something that you need to be aware of. So you're not going to be eligible for that fall program at Yonsei if you're a transfer student. Also, the EAP has an exclusivity agreement with UCAP. It means you can't get around like by doing direct enrollment or applying through a outside program. You have to go through UCAP if you want to study at Yonsei University, and that means you have to meet the eligibility requirements that EAP has set forth. So at Yonsei University, there is also a summer school option. So it's a 6-week program where you take 2 to 3 courses and you'll get 9 to 13.5 UC units. If you are on financial aid and hope to use your aid during the summer, you will need to take 13.5 units. And they have a very large summer course catalog. And the course offerings in English are focused on humanities and the social sciences. And then there is Korean language that is offered if that's something that you're interested in doing. Just like the Yonsei programs during the fall and spring terms, there is an internship option also available during the summer school program, but it is pretty competitive. There's not as many spots available on or internship options available during the summer. So that's something that you should be aware of if you're thinking about an internship. And then during the summer school program, they offer cultural activities and field trips. So that's really a nice way to learn more about Korea while you're there for the 6 weeks. This program only requires a 2.0 GPA. And again, they have an exclusivity agreement with UCAP. So you can't apply directly to the Yonsei Summer School Program. If you get to the Yonsei Summer application directly by going to the website and you apply, they're going to turn you away and tell you to apply through UCAP. So Korea University is also a Sky University, and it's got this sort of Ivy League feel. It's got old buildings. You can see a picture here with the cherry blossoms. It's very beautiful. There are also a lot of course options in English, and actually 70% of the business courses at Korea University are offered in English. So if you're a business major, international studies business major, BizEcon, you're interested in business, there's a lot of business courses offered in English. They also offer a buddy program similar to Yonsei University, and they are a little bit different than Yonsei University with their eligibility requirements. You still have to have a year of college prior to applying. So if you're a first year student thinking about going your sophomore year, the same rules apply. But if you're a transfer student, you only need 1 quarter at UCSD prior to applying. So that means when your fall quarter courses and grades post, you can go ahead and apply for that fall semester, assuming that there's still room available on the Korea University program. And I'm going to talk about first come, first serve and applications for UCAP later on in the presentation. Now, Korea University only requires a 2.5 GPA, so it's a little bit lower than Yonsei. On-campus housing is not guaranteed. It's also sort of like a first come, first serve, but again, EAP will provide resources for you if you don't get on-campus housing. Seoul National University, also a SKY university. It's touted as the #1 university in Korea. Depending on who you talk to, some people may say it's Yonsei, some people may say it's Korea University. They also offer a lot of courses taught in English. Some of the disciplines are impacted. So computer science, engineering, and business courses tend to be impacted. UCAP on the Seoul National Program page under the academics tab, they do indicate which disciplines are impacted where you might have difficulties getting in courses. So that's something that you should be aware of. Also, like Korea University, you need to, actually, this is a little bit different. Seoul National University, you only need one quarter at the UC system by the time of application, and that is for first-year students and transfer students. So if you're a first-year student thinking about going your sophomore year during the fall term, then you just have to wait for your fall grades and courses to post, which usually happens about mid-December, and then you can go ahead and apply. The same goes for transfer students. And like Korea University and Yonsei, on-campus housing is not guaranteed, but again, there are resources that will be provided to you if you aren't successful in getting on-campus housing. The newest option for UCAP is KAIST, so Korea Advanced Institute of Technology, and it's outside of Seoul. It's an hour train ride, and it is the first national research institution focused on science and engineering. So if you are a STEM major, this is an excellent option for you. 80% of the coursework is offered in English, and they have a lot of innovative research that's happening at KAIST. They require a 2.85 GPA required in order to be eligible for the program. That also must be maintained up until departure. And like Yonsei University, you have to have a year of college before you can even apply. And like Seoul National and Korea University, for transfer students, you only need one quarter at UCSD before you apply. So you got to finish fall quarter here. And they offer guaranteed housing. So if you're somebody who's worried about housing, you're a STEM student.
How are you? Just
So
getting early.
yeah, if you could hold your questions to the end, that would be great. And I'm going to have plenty of time at the end to go through questions. So hang tight. So let's talk about what you're going to be seeing on the UCAP Korea website. I have an arrow here on the left-hand side. You're going to see a lot of program details. You're going to see information about housing, internships, dates and eligibility, and also there's a cost calculator. So you can see the estimated costs for the program, what's going to be paid to UCAP, what's going to be out-of-pocket expenses. There's a link to how to apply, which gives you information on how to do the UCAP application. But I'm going to be talking about how to apply as a UC San Diego student later on in the presentation. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. Hold on one second. Is everybody still with me? Oops. One second. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's start this again. I don't know, maybe somebody can unmute? Well, it's okay. I'll ask you at the end. But my daughter's in Japan and she was FaceTiming me, and of course I have a Mac, so it was showing up on my Mac. So I apologize for that. Okay, so we're going to continue. So that's really all the UCAP Korea programs. Now, UCAP is doing a virtual study abroad fair on Wednesday, October 23rd. I believe it's at 4 p.m., but this QR code will take you to the page to register for that event. So if you have questions about UCAP in general, this is a great event to go to. So let's talk about now the UC San Diego Global Exchange programs. Here's a QR code on this slide as well that will take you to the Global Exchange Korea programs. And unlike UCAP, when you go on the UC San Diego Global Exchange Korea program, you're going to be getting transfer credit. And it's like if you did AP credit or you did a community college class when you were in high school and you transferred the credit to UC San Diego, you can still apply the courses that you take on the Global Exchange program towards degree requirement, just like you would UCAP programs. But it's going to appear as transfer credit on your academic record. And that means that the grades that you receive from Korea won't go into your UC San Diego GPA. You can take your financial aid with you, just like UCAP, and you're going to be paying your UCSD tuition while you're abroad. So it's pretty streamlined as well, but the application and the way the transfer credit works, there's a little bit of differences there because it's transfer credit versus UC credit. So UCSD admissions does have to review an academic planning form and approve it, but it's just a little bit more paperwork, but not that big a deal. But I always point out the transfer credit versus the UC credit. So there are two options in South Korea for global exchange. The first one is Hanyang University. It's a private research university with also a lot of courses taught in English. And they're very strong in the field of business, social sciences, and the physical sciences. They have over 2,000 course options in English. So when I say there's a lot of classes in English, there's a lot of classes in English. And if you are interested in doing the spring semester program, they do offer a summer lab internship. That's something that once you're on site, you can certainly explore. We also have a global exchange manager. Her name is Alicia Harris. And if you are interested in Hanyang University, you can certainly meet with her. She's at drop-in advising on Mondays between 1 and 3, and she can answer any questions you have about Hanyang University specifically. The campus is in the city of Seoul. It's a 2.5 GPA, and you have to be a junior or senior by departure. And then on-campus housing is also not guaranteed, unfortunately. And then Global Exchange, UC San Diego has a partnership with KAIST University, which makes sense because we're such a STEM-heavy school. The difference between Global Exchange, besides the transfer credit versus UC credit, is if you were to go abroad to KAIST during the fall semester, it's going to be less expensive than UCAP. And the reason being is you're only going to be paying your fall quarter tuition while you're at KAIST. If you go through UCAP and you go to KAIST, you're going to be paying UC tuition, but it's based off of a semester. So they do base it off of the units, total units. So it's not fall quarter tuition exactly. If you go during the spring semester and you go through Global Exchange, you're going to pay UCSD tuition for 2 quarters because you're gone winter and spring quarters. But so it's less expensive if you want to do KAIST to go through UCAP. Now, Global Exchange has a later deadline than UCAP. So if, let's say you are thinking about applying and you forget about it, and then you decide, oh my gosh, I remember that great info session that I attended and I want to go to KAIST, and you miss the deadline for UCAP, the Global Exchange deadline is later. So that's a nice perk for our students. With the Global Exchange, you do have to have a 3.0 GPA, so it's a little bit higher than the UCAP program. So just a little differences between the two. So remember earlier in the presentation, I mentioned I would show you like how to find a lot of information using our website, financial aid, all of that. So if you go to studyabroad.ucsandiego.edu and you look at the Students tab at the top or on the left-hand side and you expand it, you're going to see a lot of resources. And I have expanded right here the Find a Program, where it will take you to the Global Seminars page, the Global Exchange page, other UC campuses if you want to look at those other summer faculty-led options. This is a wonderful page to take a look at. Under students, you'll also see how to apply. You'll see events and deadlines. You can't see it here, but you'll also see the financial aid and scholarships page as well that you can click on. So next steps, if you have not done the Get Started course or attended a Get Started session, I highly recommend it. I went through some of the basics of studying abroad earlier in the presentation, but I didn't go into a lot of the things that you sort of need to think about if you're trying to figure out where you might want to study abroad. You certainly need to talk to your academic advisors here at UC San Diego. So it's important to look at your degree requirements, look at when might be best for you to go abroad based off of like what your major is. You know, some majors, there's certain courses you need to take in sequence. Your academic advisors can certainly work with you to figure out when might be the best time for you to go abroad. They might also talk to you about which major courses or college GEs, if you talk to your college advisor, are best suited to take here at UC San Diego, and which ones you can take while you're in Korea. So definitely connect with your academic advisors because it's certainly a partnership between our office and your major and your college, because we can give you units towards graduation, but they will have to work with you to petition the courses for your major or college requirements here at UCSD. We also want you to review the programs for best fit. So we want you to do your research, look at the eligibility requirements, look at the dates, look at what courses you can take. Do they have the kinds of courses that you want to take abroad? So look at the Korea program pages, look at the cost calculators, and think about what you're looking for in terms of your overall experience. If you're on financial aid or you want to apply for scholarships, definitely look at those resources that we have on our website. And like I mentioned, Eduardo will certainly work with you on giving you a general idea of what your aid may look like for study abroad. And then certainly you need to apply. So if you're looking at going summer 2025, fall 2025, or even spring 2026, this is the time to figure out which program you want to go on, and you're going to be working on your application very soon for summer and fall programs. So this is just a little screenshot of how to apply. It's under the Students tab, like all the other pages that I was just showing you. And these drawers can be expanded, and they give you step-by-step process on how to do your application. So if you're not sure how it all works and how you do your application, we have this page for you to explain it. So let's talk about UCAP deadlines. UCAP is the way they're working it now is they have set deadlines, which I don't have listed here for the Korea programs, but you can get to it on the How to Apply page under that UCAP drawer. But they are doing rolling admissions, and the Korea universities, all except KAIST, have limited spots. And so what that means is you're going to be doing two applications. The first one is the Tritons Abroad application, which is the UC San Diego application. And you'll be able to get to it from our homepage. There's a tab up on the left-hand side of the navigation bar, and you'll do a Tritons Abroad application, and you'll go ahead and submit that. And then when the UCAP application portal opens for summer on November 14th, and for fall and year, November 20th, they both open at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can go ahead and get your application in for the Korean program that is your top choice. You can only apply for one program for the same term. So that means you can't apply to Korea University and Yonsei for the fall. You have to pick your top choice. And it's really a timestamp based off of when you get your UCAP application in. So you can go ahead and create an account in the UCAP portal and be ready to go. And then when the application opens up, you can go ahead and get your UCAP application in. I don't think any of the CREA programs last year filled like day one. So I don't want you to stress out. But if you know you want to go on a specific program, get your application in as close to the open time as possible. That's just my recommendation. And then April 15th is the deadline for spring semester, so you have plenty of time. You don't need to worry about that quite yet. If you're interested in the UC San Diego Global Exchange at Hanyang University or at KAIST, the portal's already open for Tritons Abroad, and you will need to apply by March 3rd, 2025 for the following year. And for KAIST and Hanyang, the spring deadline is September 15th and October 1st. So it doesn't matter if it's Hanyang or KAIST for fall or year, it's March 3rd. And then for the spring, they have different deadlines. And that is not first come, first serve. You'll get your application in, and Alicia, who is the Global Exchange Manager, she'll review the applications, and then you'll go from there. If you would like to apply for a UCAP Korea program, but your top choice is Global Exchange, you can certainly get your application in for EAP. And then when Global Exchange, you hear back from them if you are admitted. As long as we withdraw you before the withdrawal deadline that is listed on your UCAP application, then you will not be charged a withdrawal fee. So it's really important, if you're thinking about doing that, that you read what the withdrawal deadline is when you submit your EAP application, okay? So remember I said there's a lot of events coming up fall quarter, like that financial aid session. My colleagues at UC San Diego are doing info sessions. There's a lot happening this week. If you're interested in Europe as well and want to shop around, there's a QR code that will take you to that page. We're also doing in-person get started sessions. There's going to be a global exchange info session that Alicia is holding. I believe that's also this week. Global Seminars is doing information sessions. So there's a lot of resources there for you for fall quarter. We don't do info sessions year round. We usually just do them during the fall quarter, and then we record them, and then we post it on our website. So also we're doing a big study abroad fair. It's October 25th, 10 to 2 in Town Square. You can register using this QR code. There's a little map here if you're not sure where the Town Square is. And UCAP is going to be on campus talking about their programs. Global Exchange will be out there talking about their programs. Global Seminars will have a table. So all the advisors are going to be out at the Study Abroad Fair. So certainly stop by if you have questions or want to talk to different advisors about the different programs. So if you have follow-up questions after this session is over, and like I said, I'm going to answer all your questions at the end of the session, which is pretty much now, you can come to Drop-In Virtual Advising. Drop-In Advising, I don't have the schedule here, but it is offered 3 times a week, Mondays and Thursdays, afternoons from 1 to 3, and Friday 10 to 11:30. That's on our website, and you will access the virtual advising through the VAC. So I don't know if you've done it with your department or college advising, but you go into VAC during those times, and you'll see that you'll be able to sign in, and you'll say the reason for coming in, and then you'll be connected with an advisor through Zoom. We can assist with the application process. We can provide a lot of support if you have general questions as well. But we do ask that you do get started. If you feel comfortable and know which program that you plan on doing, you can certainly go ahead and go to the virtual advising now. And you can also ask a question in the VAC. Anytime, it's open 24/7. Just don't make it, an essay. If you have quick questions, that's a great use of the VAC. If you have more complicated questions, certainly stop by the virtual advising. So that is the end of the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. Let's see here.